George Wendt, best known for playing Norm on Cheers, has passed away at the age of 76. The beloved sitcom star was nominated for Best Supporting Actor in a Comedy Emmy 6 times during his 11 years on the show. The actor's family confirmed he passed away peacefully in his...
Today, we're taking a closer look at the life and legacy of George Wendt.
Of course, known best as Norm Peterson from Cheers.
Exactly. And this is following the very sad news of his passing recently.
Yeah. We'll be drawing mainly from BBC News reports covering his death and also looking at those tributes pouring in, especially from his Cheers co-stars.
Right. But we want to go a bit deeper than just the headlines. Our goal here is really to understand what made George Wendt, and specifically Norm, just so beloved. Why that character still hits home.
Mm-hmm.
So think of this as a quick, but pretty thorough deep dive into his impact. Might be some surprising details for you along the way, too.
Okay, so the reports confirmed George Wendt passed away early Tuesday morning. He was 76.
And it sounds like it was peaceful at home in his sleep.
Yes, that's what was reported. And his family released a statement calling him a doting family man, a well-loved friend and confidant.
That really says something, doesn't it, about the person behind, the barfly persona we all knew.
It really does.
Yeah.
And you saw that warmth reflected immediately in the reactions from the Cheers cast. Ted Danson, Sam Malone, he said he was devastated, called him Georgie. He ended his tribute just saying, "I love you, Georgie."
Wow. That hits hard. You feel that connection.
Definitely. And Kelsey Grammer, who played Frasier, he mentioned that mourning is, a private thing for him.
Understandable.
But he still said he liked George a lot and made the point that Norm was beloved by millions. He saw that wider impact.
Yeah, it's true. Norm wasn't just a character. He was the character for so many people.
And Rhea Perlman's words were just incredibly moving. Carla Tortelli herself.
What did she say?
She called him the sweetest, kindest man I ever met, and that she'd miss him more than words can say. It really paints a picture of, like a family.
It sounds like they really were, beyond just colleagues.
Mm-hmm. And John Rassenberger, too, Cliff Clavin. He said he was heartbroken. And I thought his phrasing was really perfect. He said, "We shared a stage, a lot of laughs, and a front row seat to one of television's most beloved friendships."
Oh, that's lovely, a front row seat. Because that's how it felt for us watching, didn't it? Like we were right there at the bar with them.
Exactly. Which, brings us to Norm himself and his place in Cheers. It's kind of staggering. George Wendt was in every single episode, all 275.
Everyone, wow. That consistency. It really underlines how central Norm was.
Absolutely central.
And the entrance. You can't talk about Norm without talking about the entrance. The door opens, he says something, and
Norm, the whole bar.
every time. It's such a simple gag, but it just worked, didn't it?
Right.
Why do you think it landed so well every single time?
Well, I think part of it was that predictability. It became like a comforting ritual. You knew it was coming.
Right, like, okay, Norm's here, all's right with the world, or at least the bar.
Exactly. It signaled familiarity. And Wendt's delivery was always just perfect. Understated, great timing, made each little quick feel kind of fresh.
Yeah, a comedic comfort blanket, like you said.
Yeah.
And Wendt himself, he talked about the show's impact years later, didn't he?
He did. He mentioned, I think it was maybe 20 years after Cheers ended, living near where they filmed Friends and Seinfeld.
Okay.
And he felt he had a unique perspective on being part of something so huge compared to them.
Unique how, do you think? What did he mean?
Well, maybe it was timing. Cheers hit its peak before, the absolute explosion of 247 media, the internet, the kind of intense, immediate fame that Friends experienced.
Okay. So his experience might have felt a little different, maybe less overwhelming.
Possibly. A slightly different kind of connection maybe with the audience back then. It's an interesting point he made.
That is interesting, how fame itself changes. And speaking of the show's appeal, the actual Cheers Boston pub, the one that inspired it all.
Yeah, they put out a tribute.
They did. Called Norm a symbol of comfort, laughter, and naturally, they mentioned the "where everybody knows your name" line.
Of course. It really cements his status, doesn't it? He was that idea.
He was. He wasn't just funny. He represented that whole theme of the show. Finding your place, your people.
Yeah, that sense of belonging. Norm finding his community at that bar. It resonates because, we all look for that, don't we? A place where you're just accepted.
Totally. So, okay, Norm was this massive defining role.
Huh.
But George Wendt did other things too, right? His career wasn't only Cheers.
Oh, absolutely. Norm is what he'll be remembered for, no question. But he had a solid career outside of that. He was in some notable films, Dreamscape, Forever Young, with Mel Gibson, Ron Howard's Gung Ho, showed off his comedy chops in different ways.
And here's one that might surprise you, or maybe you remember it. He was in a huge music video.
Oh, which one?
Michael Jackson's Black or White. He played the dad, Macaulay Culkin's dad at the beginning.
No way, I forgot about that. That's amazing. Playing opposite Macaulay Culkin at his peak in a Michael Jackson video.
Right. It's kind of a wild pop culture connection. Shows his reach, maybe.
Yeah, it speaks to his visibility. He was recognizable enough, personable enough, to be cast in something that massive. Even if it was just a cameo, he wasn't totally confined by the Norm typecast.
And he did other TV too, like a recurring role on Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
All right, I remember that.
And Melissa Joan Hart apparently said some lovely things about working with him. Called him warm, professional, and kind. Said the cast felt gifted with his presence.
That sounds about right, doesn't it? It seems like that warmth, that easygoing quality that made Norm so likable was just George Wendt.
Yeah, it seems like it really came through authenticity.
And personally, he had long-lasting connections too. Married to Bernadette Burkett since way back in 1978.
Wow, that's a long time, especially in show business.
It really is. They have 3 children. Suggests a really strong, grounded personal life behind the scenes.
Yeah. And here's another connection that's quite interesting, especially now. He was Jason Sudeikis' uncle.
Get out.
Ted Lasso's uncle.
Yep. His sister is Jason Sudeikis' mother. That's incredible. It's like, I don't know, a bridge between 2 incredibly beloved, heartwarming TV figures, Norm and Ted Lasso.
It is a lovely connection, isn't it? Like you said, a kind of comedic lineage passing down through the family.
Wow. Small world.
And we should also mention the critical recognition he got. It wasn't just popular acclaim.
Right. The Emmys.
6 times.
Yeah.
6 consecutive Emmy nominations for playing Norm. Outstanding supporting actor.
6 in a row. That's serious recognition from his peers.
It really is. What does that tell you, those nominations?
Well, it says they weren't just rewarding a popular character, they were recognizing the skill involved. Keeping a character like Norm funny, relatable, and, well, real over that many years, that takes serious comedic craft. It wasn't just showing up and saying Norm.
No, there was nuance there. A lot of talent.
Definitely.
So, reflecting on all this, George Wendt's passing, it really feels like the loss of a truly comforting presence in comedy. He's always going to be Norm Peterson for so many of us.
That character who just wanted a place to belong and found it. It taps into something really universal.
It does. And hearing those tributes from the cast, you understand that the warmth wasn't just on screen, that camaraderie was real, and I think you could feel that watching the show.
Absolutely. That chemistry, that affection, it was a huge part of why Cheers worked so well and why Norm felt like somebody you knew.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which maybe leaves us with a final thought for you to chew on.
Okay.
Why do these characters stick with us so much? You know, the norms, the regulars, the people who find their solace in their community in these familiar places, pubs, coffee shops, whatever. Why do they resonate so strongly across generations? What does it say about our own, maybe, need for connection, that desire for a place, where everybody knows your name? Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.